We forgot the normal little wooden boards that we usually put finished pieces on, so this is gonna be a little interesting. I hope this works. It's too heavy, I didn't pull up the walls enough. Thick, T-H-I-C-C-C, thick.
A little wobbly.
Do you want to cut it off or do you like it?
It's kind of fun little vase. And then I want to get it to be a thinner rim. Like I want it to be a little more round actually now.
Yeah, we can do a lot of that during the trimming process.
Yeah, but you do your little trick.
I'm going to do this, yeah. Hopefully it'll be pretty cool. So this guy that I spend quite a bit of time carving feels so insanely good in the hands. And my hope is that it is going to be a little oil canister. That being said, I didn't have this guy yet when I did this, and so it's already shrinking and it's gonna shrink more in the kiln. So there is definitely a chance that it won't fit because it's going to shrink, I think probably at least 10% more, but right now it's not super snug. The top one is a little snug, but I actually think that it might end up being perfect once it's fired. But I think that this is just gonna be the cutest little oil thing in the world. And now I wanna work on this guy. I have been taking our pottery studio to the forest so much more these days. It just makes me feel so happy. There's something about doing clay in the forest that just feels very, very right. That being said, it is a lot to lug everything out here, and so I have been doing a lot of research on how to make it easier for me, especially on power stations, because I need to run my pottery wheel here. So I need a power station that is light and compact and easier for us to carry out here. This right here is the Jackery 3000 V2. So big shout out to Jackery for sponsoring today's video. I've been really excited to get my hands on this. If you followed me for a while now, you'll know that I am no stranger to power stations. They were my lifeline when I lived van life for 3 years. They helped us to completely do our renovation in our 70-year-old German home, and they have been my constant companion for outdoor activities. I really do think this is the prettiest power station that I've ever had, but it is beautiful on the inside too. It is almost 50% lighter and 43% more compact compact than the industry standard. In fact, it's actually the lightest and most compact 3,000 watt-hour power station on the market. So if you have to transport your power station around a lot like I have to, the Jackery Explorer 3000 V2 is pretty much as good as it gets. It's part of the new V2 series, which ranges from 250 watts to 3,000 watts, and every model is designed to be smaller and more portable than anything else in its category. For a 3,000 watt-hour unit, it's definitely the most compact and easy to carry that I've seen, and by now I've seen a lot of power stations. Its battery pack is actually designed with the most cutting-edge technology from the automotive industry, which makes it a lot more stable, safer, and of course, as compact as it is. It also features AI variable speed charging, which means it intelligently monitors conditions like overheating, overcharging, or overcurrent, and adjusts its charging speed to protect the battery. That just translates to better performance and a longer lifespan. This power station comes with a 3-year warranty, but you can actually push that to 5 years just by reaching out to Jackery. That kind of long-term support really matters when you're investing in reliable off-grid power. If you guys want to check out the Jackery 3000 V2, you can click on the link in the description box below and use my code Maddie20 for 3% off. We are on our way to go pick up a kiln. After months and months and months of looking at secondhand kilns on eBay, we have finally found the one.
I found it.
Ellie found it. We actually didn't respond to them for the longest time because I just wasn't sure if I was ready for the investment, but I'm ready and we're going. Today is the day I'm going to try to fire this kiln for the first time. Unfortunately, all of the things that I made this week are not yet bone dry. You really have to wait until your pottery pieces are super dry before you pop them in the kiln. But I do have so many pieces that I did save throughout the past couple months of practicing over and over and over again. Some pots are definitely better than others, but I think we'll be able to make a pretty full kiln. That being said, I'm definitely nervous about this. In about a month, we're gonna have Elli's uncle, who is an electrician, come by and put a very heavy duty electrical setup on here, but he did give us the go-ahead that it should be okay to use this pre-existing cable, so it should be safe, but I just don't know if everything is gonna run smoothly. So we just kind of have to hope for the best. And I just really hope that by the end of this, I have some at least bisque fired pieces. I'm not sure if with the existing setup, it's gonna get up to a glaze firing, which is substantially hotter than a bisque fire, but we're gonna start with just bisque firing. I wonder if this is gonna be too close. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I spent the last hour and a half looking up how to program this, and I feel like I have it down on lock now, and I'm about to start it. I wish I could say I was more excited, but I just feel so nervous, especially knowing that this was a secondhand kiln. So today I want to practice handles. I have made one handle before. I will show you. I made this handle for this pitcher. This has not yet been fired. I really want to fire it, but I am going to do it in another week or so when it's a little drier. And this handle was the 3rd or maybe even the 4th try. So we'll have to see how this goes today because I definitely have practiced it the least out of anything. Pulling handles looks ridiculous, but there's something so cool about the idea that the mug that you use every day was hand pulled by a potter somewhere. So I really do want to improve. All right, do we prefer more of a rounded one like this, or do we prefer more of your classic handle like this? I'm making a bunch of texture in my pot, and then I'm using some slip, which is basically clay and water, as our glue. And then we take our handle and we smush it on. I wonder if I should make this one slightly longer. Just like that. I know this is kind of silly, but I kind of love that my initials are MT, so it's like an empty cup. And it's up to you, my friends, to fill your empty cup. Is that too small, guys? Honestly, it's kind of cute though. I definitely feel like I'm struggling the most with attaching them in a way that looks super seamless. You know, I want to learn how to do it the quickest, easiest way without having to fuss, because I find myself readily fussing over every tiny little detail. It'll be interesting to see what pieces look like once they've been glazed and fired, or even just bisqued and fired, to see what imperfections show up and what kind of get lost through that process. And then maybe it'll help me to fuss less, or maybe it'll make me fuss even more. I thought it would be fun to show you guys the first set of mugs I ever made. This right here. It honestly blows my mind how different these look and feel. I think you can definitely pick up on it a lot more in person, but you can see the rim differences in this. This is a lot thinner. It's a lot more delicate. It's so much lighter. This feels like at least 30% heavier than this mug right here. And it's really cool to just see the progress, because I am still having a hard time centering every single time, especially if I use super groggy clay like this one is. Some days it doesn't feel like I'm improving that much at all, but then when I compare it to the first pieces that I made, it's pretty staggering how quickly you can improve something if you are practicing it as much as I have been, which is like every day, every single day. I am actually pulling these a little bit more on the mug, and that is mostly just because I want to practice that technique too. It's so cool how many different techniques there are to try within ceramics. Like, I feel like you could explore ceramics for 1,000 lifetimes and still have so much to learn. And I just think that is so cool. And then we push it into place, just like that. I'm putting them upside down so they keep that nice slope that they have. I don't want them to curve out too much. All right, last one. I wonder if I should have made the handles bigger, but I kind of like that they're dainty and sweet. I love my little collection from this week. Not all of them are perfect. Actually, none of them are, but I'm just excited to see if they survive the kiln. I won't be able to fire them until they're all bone dry, which will take a little while. But hopefully we will have some bisque fired pots to show you guys tomorrow before ending this video. But I'm just really happy about this. I have my little sandpaper propping up my pot. I'm not so sure about these chains. The thing about this clay that I'm using is it doesn't have any grog, and essentially that means it's less stable than if it was grog clay, which also means that it's more prone to cracking. So it might be that this guy especially doesn't survive, but even if the chains don't survive, I think that the pot will, hopefully. And then I have practice, so the next time I do it with a better clay, which is on the way, I hopefully will have one that doesn't have broken chains. But hey, there's some symbolism in that, so maybe I'll keep it even if it does break. I kind of intentionally made the handles all a little bit different, just because, you know, I tried to make all the pots the same, and then just exploring and trying to figure out how to even make handles in the first place. And I think they're pretty fun. I definitely like some more than others. It'll be really fun to hopefully glaze these too, and glaze them in a way where they all look similar but a little different, and then I'll have a nice little tea set for when we have our friends over. But that's it for today. I am going inside, and I'll see you guys when this kiln is done. I'm so nervous. I actually do want to come out a couple more times. It's just been heating up slowly this entire time. I have the garage door open, of course, and hopefully it works like it's supposed to. Good morning, you guys. It is the next day. I have opened and taken my first peek, and it's time to take everything out of the kiln. So far, it doesn't look like anything cracked, but we'll see together. I also forgot to show you guys this piece yesterday. This is Elli's finished piece that will go in for bisque firing pretty soon too. She added some really cool details down at the bottom, and we did a really nice trim job on the top to show the throwing rings, but I think it is so cute.
My little vase. I added some trim at the sides or at the bottom. I think it's quite cute.
This is the first successful pot that I made on my pottery wheel, and I love it. It's actually surprisingly light considering, and I'm so excited to glaze this, and hopefully it lasts through that whole process. But I'm really excited about this. I can't believe none of them cracked. It took a long time for all of the pots to cool down, longer than I thought. I think it was like 13 or 14 hours of cool down time, which was a long wait, and so I definitely will not be able to glaze these before this video is out, but still very cool to have this little collection of items and the first things that I've ever made in this little pottery studio. Halfway through, all we need to do is the glaze fire, and hopefully that'll be next week. If my kiln doesn't work, I'm probably going to try to take them to the pottery studio in town, so that should be interesting. But I would like to have some finished pots on my hands. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I probably am going to make a lot more pottery content. I've been thinking about dabbling with shorts. And for those of you who have stuck around through all the niche changes on this channel, from van life to moving to Germany and renovating a house to now this cozy little pottery studio in rural northern Germany, you're one of my people. So thank you so much for being here, for helping me to continue living this lifestyle. I'm just so grateful that I get to be here and do this. As for the renovation, we will post videos when we actually do it, but we got so burnt out after a year of renovating, and also it's just expensive and we don't have a ton of money to keep renovating all the time. So we're saving, and yes, big investment on the pottery studio up front, but it is well worth it. If there's anything that you think I should try making, you should leave it down in the comments below. I know that I'm still kind of figuring this all out, and I'm still very much a beginner, but I think the best part of this is just being able to be super creative and trying over and over again, even knowing that I'm probably going to fail a few times, but I just am falling in love. You guys are watching, so see you soon. This feels so good in my hands. Part of me feels like I need to have this blurred out. I'm really hopeful, or I want to be hopeful. Terrifying. Literally so scary. And then immediately starts fussing again. Why are there so many people going down my road right now? I just want it to be perfect, even though I am a beginner.
What do you think?